Message from national transportation leaders. They're calling for risk assessments on bridges in several different states, including in Georgia, and that includes Savannah's Talmadge Bridge. WTOC's Flynn Snyder joins us now live in Savannah. And Flynn, it comes after last year's container ship crash that caused the collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Yeah, Mike, that's right. Good evening. And the Talmadge was one of 68 bridges listed in that new report from the National Transportation Safety Board. It says some bridges that have cargo ships frequently pass underneath have an unknown level of risk of collapse in the event of a boat collision.
The collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore last year, putting the focus on bridge safety across America. This new report makes recommendations applying to 68 bridges. That includes Savannah's Talmadge Bridge, which routinely sees cargo ships traveling underneath.
What we are telling bridge owners is that they need to know the risk and determine what actions they need to take to ensure safety.
It's part of the National Transportation Safety Board's ongoing investigation into the collapse of the Key Bridge, which claims the structure was almost 30 times above the acceptable risk threshold when a cargo ship struck it. In a statement to WTOC, the Georgia Department of Transportation says it plans to fully comply with the NTSB's guidance and takes the recommendations seriously. A spokesperson tells us it is worth noting that the Talmadge Bridge, which was constructed and opened in 1991, is unlike the Francis Scott Key Bridge in that the bridge's support piers are located on the banks of the river rather than in the water itself. Regardless, GDOT will perform the analysis as requested. The recommendations come amid a growing focus on the size of ships passing underneath the Talmadge. Recently, GDOT announced ideas to either replace the Talmadge with a tunnel or build a taller bridge in the same location to meet demand for larger ships at the Port of Savannah. In the meantime, the NTSB is calling for swift action to ensure bridge safety.
Determine whether they need to implement countermeasures and, if warranted, implement a comprehensive risk reduction plan.
So the NTSB also notes that the report does not mean that the included bridges are certain for collapse. Instead, they want transportation officials to look at each bridge, assess them to see if they're above acceptable risk thresholds. We're live in Savannah. Flynn Snyder, WTOC News.